Ah. So, hello and welcome everyone to my Sarah Yunus channel. So, where we dive into real stories, deep conversations, and soulful journeys. So, today I'm joined by someone whose presence and work inspire growth, reflection, and the inner peace. So, let's welcome Shanthi Sharma, the beautiful soul behind Grow with Satori. Shanti ma'am, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And Shanti is good enough. Ma'am is not required.
Okay, great. My pleasure to have you here today. Very inspiring to know about you. So, what inspired you to grow with Satori? And what does this actually name mean to you personally? Because something unique it is, grow with Satori. So, please tell me about it.
I'll first talk about the inspiration and then move
Sure,
into talking about what the name means.
sure.
And this question actually takes me back to one of the defining moments in my career. The seeds for Grow with Satori, I think, were planted end of 2018, beginning of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
during a very turning point event in my corporate career. I've shared this
Okay,
in far more detail in a book that I've written, Women Mavericks, but here I'll try and concise it short and tell you just the essence of it. Yeah.
okay.
So at the time, I was doing very well in my role. I was part of a core team that had presented recommendations for a major transformation that our organization was going through. The
Mm-hmm.
leadership that had come in from Melbourne and the MD, everyone responded so positively, and everything seemed
Mm-hmm.
on track. And yet, what
Okay,
followed was completely unexpected. Me and my entire team were made
mm.
redundant. And
Okay.
there wasn't even time to process this shock or
Oh,
mourn the fact that in 3 months I will not have a job, because I was
mm-hmm.
surrounded by my team members who were so expectantly looking at me
Mm-hmm.
for direction, for hope, for leadership, for support. And I'm like, okay, now I have to put my emotions aside, and uh, I started doing what I knew best. I stepped up.
Right.
The
Mm.
same evening, I made everyone update their resumes. We rewrote our LinkedIn profiles. We started applying for
Mm.
internal roles within the organization outside. I shared
Okay.
my availability, my strengths within my network, and also advocated for all
Mm-hmm.
the team members in my team, circulating their profiles in
Yeah.
possible communities and contacts that I had. At the same
Okay.
time, I approached my CHRO with a very strong
Mm-hmm.
business case, showing the value that my team was delivering and the crores of rupees that we would have saved we were if we continued to
Mm.
exist. Yeah. Backed by
Okay.
lots of cost saving and strategic impact. So, a wonderful business case I put together.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, the business took notice, and as a result, some of my team members were absorbed back into the organization, including me.
Okay.
Others found roles within the organization itself, some found roles externally, and a couple of
Okay.
them chose entrepreneurial paths back then itself. Only
Mm-hmm.
one of them decided to step down, and she wanted to focus on her family. So basically,
Okay.
everyone was settled. Uh, that
Mm.
intense, purpose driven period, under pressure, under uncertainty, and emotional turmoil for myself, revealed
Mm.
something really powerful for me, that, I could, if I could support people in a meaningful way, even during times and periods of crisis, I believed I
Mm-hmm.
could really uh, bring about larger change, transformation, support, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
operating from a place of awareness and calm and clarity and intention. So that thought stayed. In fact, that's the
Yeah.
seed of, Grow with Satori. And I said, I'm going to give
Okay.
it all my heart. And it was only
Mm.
doing what I could do well in a larger
Mm-hmm.
proportion, training and coaching. Yeah. So it instinctively happened, and I announced it to my family that,
Okay.
I've decided to become an independent coach and consultant. And we all sat
Mm-hmm.
together and cheered, and, it was such a
Mm.
joyful session where mix of names, of themes were thrown at me.
Mm.
Why not this, why not this, German, French, Sanskrit, Hindi, I don't know, all sorts of names came by. But
Okay.
this term, it's a Japanese term, Satori, in Zen
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism. It means a sudden moment of awakening or deep insight. For me, it
Okay.
represents the essence of what I do in coaching, awakening through self discovery. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what enabled me in moments of clarity and connection and awakening. So I thought, okay, why not? And so Grow with Satori was born on 24th May 22. And
Okay.
I hold the name, the purpose very close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made it my purpose of life right now.
Great. So this was in which year?
22.
22. Great. Okay. So next month is again the anniversary. So we are
Anniversary.
just 1 month.
Yeah,
You're just 1 month away from your third anniversary. Great, great, great.
absolutely.
So, really interesting story. And I think more the story and also the name which you choose, has a very good meaning. It's basically representing and it's actually highlighting to the work what you are going to, you're offering to your customers and all that. So, can
Yeah.
you just share a defining moment that led you to the part of, mindful living and coaching? What was that moment that got you into this?
Mindful living and coaching.
Yeah,
To me,
coaching.
coaching and mindful living started as two separate paths, but over time they intermingled, intertwined. Yeah,
Correct.
there
Yeah.
wasn't one single light bulb moment, but instead a series of small event sparks,
Yeah.
small but powerful shifts that really lit the way, if I have to say. So when I began
Hmm.
my journey into coaching, I expected to learn how to help others. What I didn't expect was how it will change me profoundly. The process of being trained requires you to do peer coaching, to practice with peers in a safe environment where there's a supervisor telling you
Hmm.
that you coached well, you didn't coach well, you could have asked this, you should not have. So basically, lots of feedback is given. But
Right.
because we are pretending to be clients to each other, you're also, while you're
Hmm.
honing your coaching skill, you're also learning more about yourself, engaging in
Right.
real coaching conversations. And that became a mirror. With every session, I understood myself more clearly. And I
Mm-hmm.
normally, give this, imagine walking through a forest early in the morning. Uh, it is foggy, you don't see, but when the sun rises, it's that sun. Imagine that sun is the coaching
Yeah.
process. You start seeing what's around you, things become more clear. So that's
Hmm.
how I experienced coaching. So those small conversations that I had with my peers was the
Hmm.
start of the inner journey or transformation. The other thing is, when you are sharing with others, your coaches,
Hmm.
your experience, or you're being mentored, the credentialing process requires you to get mentored. Yeah, and when you're being
Yeah.
mentored, you receive so much of feedback. I think all of that makes it so much more open, powerful, reflective for you. And
Hmm.
that helped me be in that mindful living space.
By teaching others, you actually tend to learn a lot more things, no?
Oh,
Some things,
yes,
which, yeah, you actually explore that you have so many more things inside you.
absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Great. So, how do you guide someone who feels lost or disconnected from their purpose? How does this happen? Please just give us a little idea, a little brief, so our viewers
Lovely
can get
question.
an idea about it.
Purpose for me is something very deep,
Yes.
uh, almost sacred, if I have to use that word. And as
Hmm.
I coach, I believe I don't give out answers, I don't
Mm-hmm.
prescribe a path. Instead, I hold
Mm-hmm.
the space and offer the process of coaching, which is
Mm-hmm.
very gentle, powerful questions. Um, that help the individual reconnect with who they are, and hence the term, awakening through
Yeah.
self-discovery. That's where it comes from.
Yes.
When somebody feels
Hmm.
lost, disconnected from their purpose, I begin by helping them to tune to what lies beneath the surface. What is it that they
Mm-hmm.
value? What energizes them?
Hmm.
um, what have they contributed so far? What do they feel they can contribute? I don't
Hmm.
guide them with their purpose, neither I'm not even in a position to offer them what their purpose might look like. I've used
Hmm.
frameworks like Ikigai. Ikigai talks about 4 questions:
Yes.
what you
Yeah.
love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. Yeah, so they
Okay.
answer these 4 questions, it emerges. But often it is far deeper than just answering these four questions.
Yes.
So when coaches reflect on questions like, what values do you live by? Those
Hmm.
that, if compromised, will make you feel a sense of loss of identity. Yeah.
Hmm.
To give an example, for me, honesty, integrity, and service are very strong values that I hold by. And if
Hmm.
I'm not practicing integrity, or if I'm not being of service to somebody, then I don't know what I'm doing. Then who am I? Where am I being? So it
Right.
feels very incomplete. So that's that
True.
first question. So we've spoken about values. Yeah, the second thing
Yeah.
is, what does meaningful life look like to you? Uh,
Hmm.
Typically, I tie that to, what kind of legacy would you leave? Questions like, on your 80th birthday, what would you like people to share about you, say about you? Those kinds of questions.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
how would you like to be remembered? And it's been so interesting that no one ever answers, I want to be remembered as the CEO of this organization, I want to be remembered
Hmm.
AMD, or designations, or nothing. Instead, they
Hmm.
speak of, I want to be known for my kindness, for my generosity, I want to be known
Hmm.
for the difference I'm making to the society, I want to be known as a good parent. uh,
Great.
some of them have said, I want to write a book that changes
Mm-hmm.
lives, or create a positive change in the community. So those things have also occurred, but it has never been about designations and positions and power. And that's
Hmm.
the power of coaching, is what I would say. It helps people strip away all that noise
Mm-hmm.
of expectations and reconnect with what is their true essence. It invites clarity. Of course, we
Hmm.
coaches give answers, but we enable people to find the right answers. And
Right.
from this space of clarity, we co-create what purpose might mean for them, and how do they want to live the purpose from there on.
That's nice. It's really interesting, and I think it's more deep than what it shows. It's not just with, like as you said, just that four questions is not actually where the story just ends. Our story just starts. It actually
So,
keeps going deep,
Sarah,
and yeah.
and normally
And
I
I
practice
think,
these
yeah.
questions on myself before I pose it to my clients. And
Hmm.
answering just these four questions, they seem to be like four different buckets of thoughts, and I could not
Mm-hmm.
combine them to figure out what my purpose is going to be. It
Right.
was only on deeper exploration did my purpose really emerge. And I normally state, even on LinkedIn and everywhere you will see, I'll say that
Hmm.
develop, growing and developing people is my business and my purpose. So
Yeah.
that's it. So to arrive at that, it required a lot more exploration than just those four questions.
Correct. And I think these days, I think people need also, it's a need actually these days.
Yeah,
People are not approaching for this with, I don't know, what is taking them behind or what is disconnecting them from this. But actually, I feel this is a need of the society or to the living style what we are doing today,
absolutely,
because the
absolutely.
stress what we are going through in our personal, in our professional lives, we are not able to handle ourselves. And I think it's like there's a saying, no, a enemy is always a good when it is an enemy, but a friend is very bad when the friend becomes an enemy. So
So true. How beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, so it's very easy to share your thoughts and to share what you feel to someone who doesn't know what background you come from, where you come from, where your family is from, and you easily can open up. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you cannot open this up with your when it is your chuddy buddy, your childhood friend. You still can't do that. You sometimes have that hesitant that what will he or she think about me, okay, where I'm
Absolutely.
standing or what I have done or what mistakes I have done. You just can't admit this easily. So I think
True.
people should, in today's stressful life and in today's the corporate worlds, it's more of the corporates in today's thing, and I think this is the need for them to overcome all this, to actually understand the purpose, because many people they work in the corporates and all that just for the sake, because they have got a degree. They are like, burdened by the family because they are the bread
Absolutely.
butter for the family. So that passion is gone, the enthusiasm is gone, it's just only the need.
Yeah, yeah. and eventually it ends up being in a space where people resent their jobs and all the frustration comes back home, which means they're having difficult conversations at home with their spouses, with their children,
Yes.
with their parents in laws. uh, yeah, it
Right.
that negativity just spreads across their life.
Yeah. Like yesterday when I was scrolling through Instagram, and I was just saying that in earlier days, they used to say getting married is a really difficult task.
Yeah,
But now they say that, getting married is very easy, but the divorce is just like a flash of eyes. Before, the
so true.
divorces used to not happen so easily. There used to be a process, families used to get involved, counseling used to happen. They used to give the husband wife so much time to think about each other, to give little space, and maybe then come up with some solution. Or maybe the child is to become the foundation, and somewhere that bond is to make the marriage run. But I think
So
now that bond is also gone.
yeah, yeah.
It's become because I think the reason behind it is only that they don't speak out.
And it has become a lot about I, me, myself, the ability to understand others from their perspective.
Yes.
We don't train, teach, enable children, people, adults to do that, and all they can understand is myself. And with
Yeah.
one and two children, nuclear families, the whole concept of sharing and giving is lost. When you're just one child,
Yes.
all the chocolates at home are yours, all the toys
Correct.
are yours. So that whole concept of sharing and giving and acknowledging, okay, I don't have to have it all, is
Yeah.
lost. So yeah,
See, that's why
unfortunately,
there was a meaning, na? There was a meaning when olden times grandmoms and grandpas used to say that have more than one children. In
absolutely.
today's generation, when we say them that have more than one, they say, "Do you know what is the expense of one child?" It's very
Yeah.
easy for you to say have two. you know,
But I
we are
think the
so
strongest bonds I have today are with my siblings. We are four of
yes,
us, and
great.
we connect on a daily basis and connect really deeply. And it's not just a good morning, good evening.
Hmm.
It's far deeper than that. And I don't remember having those connects as a child or during my teenager or right after I got married. I think it was much. It is
Hmm.
now when I feel, slowly your parents starts leaving you. Some of your friends are not
Correct.
your friends anymore. So at that time, I
Yes,
think the only fallback option are your siblings, are your closest family.
siblings.
Uh,
Correct.
yeah, of course, a lot of the younger generation won't have that luxury.
Absolutely, because they are only depend, they have actually experienced this, but then when it comes to, they don't think that, after us, how are they going to manage? I think that thought is not coming to them.
Not there.
It's gone. And thanks to one way, thanks to the technology, thanks to the AI, that things have become easier for us. But at the same time, there are many cons also. Like how many pros are there that things are becoming easy for us, everything is getting drafted easily, photos are getting but the cons are a lot, that we have lost connection with real people.
Absolutely.
See, now in today's generation, like if you see, that is the reason I made this channel out, and I wanted people, because what what the people are following, we also need to walk in their shoes. They don't mind sitting and watching a YouTube video
Yeah.
for half an hour, 45 minutes, but they would mind talking to the person who's sitting next to them.
So true. So true.
It's become
5,000
so this thing, yeah.
acquaintances, but not five friends. So true.
Yeah. So it's like, so it's better to pass them messages through this video, give them an eye opener through different, my intention was to meet different people, different entrepreneurs from different fields, so that they understand that, somewhere we need to be with the technology, no doubt. Because see, I come from a digital marketing background. I've been 19 years into this. So I know how important digital marketing is in our businesses, let it be service related, product related. But at the same time, we should not lose our personal touch.
Yeah.
That's very important for us. And I think coaching is something which plays a very important role, in our lives.
Absolutely.
The before generations, we still used to listen to our grandmothers, our mothers, fathers, things. But nowadays, the new youth, they feel that this is all old fashioned, this is all like, just long lectures and all that. But
Yeah.
when it comes from a coach, the expression, the impression, the value is totally different.
So true, because the belief is, if my parents are saying something, there is some vested interest. If my teachers are saying
Yes.
something, they have some vested interest. But if a coach, a third person, non-judgmental person is saying
Ah,
something, must be true, must be no
there is some
vested
value to
interest.
it.
Exactly.
Because you are nowhere connected now. When you tell me something, you are nowhere connected to my family, not to my mother, not to my any other far relative. So I know that you're only connected to me and I'm connected to you. So whatever you tell me, it's directly between you and me. So that is
Absolutely.
how it, so let me ask you something, like, what is like, if you could just share me your biggest personal lesson through this journey of helping others. If you could just share some thing which had happened, which actually gave you a biggest lesson.
Mm. To begin with, I really don't think of coaching as helping others in a conventional sense. What I truly
Okay.
believe coaching does, and what I do, is enabling awareness. Yeah. And that
Yeah.
awareness in turn helps people help themselves. So that's a
Hmm.
distinction that I make for myself, and that's very important to me, and hence this clarification. And so where does this thought come from that awareness will bring about change? Is that
Yeah.
every individual already has all the power, the potential, the
Hmm.
energy, the resources, skills, competencies that they need to be the fullest, to achieve whatever they want or whatever they desire in terms of what they call as success. What is
Correct.
missing is the awareness of these inner capacities, potential, energy, etc. And I use this when I'm having that chemistry session to explain to people what coaching is not. I use
Hmm.
a very simple metaphor that, imagine there's a room filled with everything that you need. There are tables, chairs,
Hmm.
there's a bookshelf, perhaps a painting on the wall, a mirror, flower vase, carpet, even a window with a view outside. But the room is pitch dark and you are in the room. And because the room is dark, you can't see anything. Yeah.
Hmm.
And in that darkness, of course, you will feel lost, you will feel unsure, and
Hmm.
you're very skeptical to take the next step. Where do I put? Am
Right.
I, where am I? Coaching is like switching on that source of light in the dark room. Coaching itself
Hmm.
will not add anything to the space. No, coaching will not add the
Yeah.
table, but it just shines light on what already exists, what is already there in the room. So, as a coach, I simply help the coachee see all their power, skills, competencies, resources that always existed, just with a little bit more clarity and holistically. So, I help
Hmm.
coaches connect with what they may have forgotten, they may have overlooked, or these may have been strengths that were helpful in the childhood, but somewhere it was not helpful, so we just left them. We say that, no,
Hmm.
children are very creative, but we lose our creativity with education, because
Yes.
education shapes us and structures us in such a way. But through
Correct.
coaching, if you're able to tap into that coaching, that creativity that we had as a
Creative.
child, I think
Hmm.
uh, you are able to live your life fullest. So this metaphor really helps me, and
Hmm.
it lands so well in terms of what a coaching conversation can bring.
Hmm.
Rediscovery, strengths remembered, values anchored, choices that you now make with lots of clarity and conviction. So, my
Hmm.
personal lesson has been trust people, trust the human spirit, know that people aren't broken, they don't need fixing, they simply need a safe environment where
Yeah.
lights can be turned on. uh, you
Correct.
know, that they
Yeah.
just see, "Oh, I already know this, I already have this." That's it.
Hmm. Got it. So, also, like, if you could just tell us, it will be, because now that I think a lot of our viewers have got a lot of insight on how this coaching works and what it's basically not, you're not trying to create anything new in their life. It's basically just what they have, the existing. You're just giving them a light to see those things.
Yeah.
Basically, like, it's very simple example. If I give, I have an eyesight problem, like, if I can't see the long, if I have a long sight problem, I just need a proper glasses so that when I'm driving, my long sight doesn't get fixed. So it's basically coaching is something like giving your glasses to your long sight or short sight issue, whatever you
Brilliant.
have.
I love that metaphor.
Thank you so much. So we have already given them a lot of insight on how this coaching is and what it can change, because many people have that myth, I think, which will be clear today through our conversation, which we are having now, that coaching is not that a coach is trying to put something new in your life or making you change. It will be the same person what you are. It is just that it will make you see the things in a different way,
Yeah.
which you are not seeing it, which you already have it. So
Brilliant.
how does this session works? Like, can you just give us a little brief? So, how do people contact you, whether you do an offline or online sessions, and how long is the duration of this?
Sure. I do both online and
Mm-hmm.
offline. So typically what happens is either the corporate or the clients themselves reach out to me saying they're interested in
Okay.
being coached. I ask
Mm-hmm.
them to book a chemistry session. If it's with an organization, then it's a tri-party conversation. The client who needs to be coached, the HR or the sponsor and their manager, whosoever needs to be other stakeholders. So in that call, I explain what coaching is not. I explain what happens in a coaching conversation, what to expect, because I don't want people to think that I'm a mentor and I'm going to give them magical
Yeah,
solutions. Here, go do it. I don't
absolutely.
want them to believe that coaching is instantaneous. 2 sessions of coaching and
Yes.
magic will happen. So
Yeah.
basically, breaking all the myths that they go through. And so what happens in a coaching session is the client comes up with a problem statement or an aspirational need. So a problem statement could look like, I want to make the relationship with my spouse or my manager better. That is a problem statement. An
Hmm.
aspirational statement would look like, I want to get promoted in the next 6 months, or I
Okay.
want to become more visible on social media. So those are what aspirational needs. So the client can come with
Okay.
any of those needs, and what I will be doing is asking questions that will help them reflect
Hmm.
on where is the root cause, what is the real problem, what's causing it, how can they overcome it, what solutions
Hmm.
do they have at their disposal, do they need any help. And if
Hmm.
the client asks me for help, I may be able to share the help that is available with me. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is what I help them in the chemistry session to understand what coaching is. Then have a word
Okay.
with them in terms of what are the areas of development, either problem areas or aspirational areas that they're looking to address through these
Hmm.
coaching sessions. Sometimes the client has a very broad set of areas where they say, okay, we will continue coaching 1 session a month and we'll see. Let's not put an
Okay.
end date, and we work
Hmm.
on a session by session basis. Mostly
Okay.
happens when the coaches has reached out to me one on one. Corporates would
Okay.
want to bind it within a number of sessions. So they would say, 6 sessions, can you help this person transform into whatever, 8 sessions or 12
Okay.
sessions? So they have a baseline. This is where the client is. This is where they need to be in these X
Hmm.
number of sessions. Can you help the
Okay.
transformation happen? So it happens in both ways.
Okay.
Sometimes it's fixed, sometimes it's more free and flexible. Um,
Hmm.
and I keep doing, check-in points after every 2-3 sessions. Where are
Hmm.
we moving in the direction you needed to? What is
Hmm.
the feedback you're hearing from the stakeholders? If it's a one-on-one conversation, stakeholders would be family, friends, work colleagues,
Yeah.
managers. If it is a corporate setup, stakeholders would be your sponsors, your HR, your manager, your peers, your team members. So basically, what are they saying? Are they noticing any change? Are they noticing a difference? Is that difference
Hmm.
good, not so good? What do we want to do about it? Those kinds of conversations I keep having, checking in with them. And in case the direction of coaching needs to be revisited, reset, very
Hmm.
happy to do it.
Okay. Got it. So, and this one, the duration, what the corporates which you said they have monthly, so it's a monthly 6 sessions, 8 sessions,
Monthly or fortnightly, depends on the corporate
fortnightly.
or the individual. Yeah.
And the duration
Uh,
of each session is?
uh, 1 to 1.5 hours. It'll be somewhere between that.
Okay, okay. And where is your location if it is for offline?
I'm based in Bangalore. Most of my
Okay.
in-person clients are based in Bangalore, but I've traveled a couple of times to Pune for in-person sessions also.
In-person sessions also. Okay, ठीक है.
Yeah,
So it'll
online, the
be like,
clients are
yeah.
across the globe. Yeah.
Yeah, online is across the globe. Some like as I said, there are still some people left who like that personal touch and who feel little comfortable when having it a physical meet and then doing it. Everyone
Yeah,
has their different view and all that stuff. So I think our
absolutely.
viewers have got an idea of. Is there any message would you like to give to those who are just beginning their inner journey? Something, some piece of, because from your experiences, what kind of message would you like to pass them?
Such a beautiful, reflective question. So, if you're just starting your inner journey,
Yeah.
trust the process.
Hmm.
Know that the process takes your time, your energy,
Yeah.
requires lots of effort, patience, and a whole
Hmm.
lot of consistency in showing up. I've
Correct.
had clients who show up for a client and say, Shanti, I'm not in a problem. I don't know what we should discuss. And then in conversation,
Hmm.
they say, oh, come on, let's talk about this. So that light bulb moments happen. But more important is, oh, I don't have anything to talk about today. Let's cancel this session. Instead of that, I think showing up is a lot more important. Hence, trust the process.
Correct.
Whether you chose to work with a coach, you want to journal, or you want to read self-help books for reflection, meditation,
Hmm.
whatever, uh,
Hmm.
just know that it's not going to show immediate results. If you're journaling, it'll take you months and possibly years for transformation to happen. If you're getting coached,
Right.
nothing less than 6 to 10 sessions is going to start to show that inner transformation. You can't just read
Hmm.
one self-help book and say, okay, magic happened.
Yeah.
No, it has to be
Right.
several books, and not just reading. How do you assimilate that book? How do you
Hmm.
talk about that book? Share the lessons you've learned from the book. See how
Right.
others have interpreted the book. I think all of that is very, very important. Um,
Yes.
I normally say, the inner journey is a destination, a lifelong
Right.
exploration. So don't expect immediate results. Um, s- be slow, trust the process. Um,
Hmm.
Begin with whatever speaks to you,
Yeah.
but with compassion, curiosity, and trust that you are worth the time it takes to grow. I had that WhatsApp memes will come, no, that bamboo
Yeah.
trees, uh,
Hmm.
they don't seem to grow in the first few years, and then
Yes.
suddenly they pick up height. It takes about 7 to 8 years for them to pick up height, and in those 7 to 8 years, you can either be in that phase of, oh, I am not capable, I'm not tall enough, I'm not good
Right.
enough, or keep at it, keep nurturing, nourishing yourself till the time is ripe, and then you flourish. So
Right.
hold your horses, be slow. That would be my message if I had to give.
Very true. And I would like to add one point is that you need to have the will to change, to learn, to explore.
How
If
beautiful.
you don't have the will, I don't think so. Anyone, not only you, any coach in this world cannot help us out. The will is
Absolutely.
really important
Absolutely. And
because
that's
some people.
question I
Yeah.
asked in my chemistry session. How strongly do you want to change and transform on a scale
Yes.
of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
If it is not very strong, then I don't think coaching can help you at all.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes. Because if
very
you don't have that will, then I think nothing can happen. See, today we had a will. We are here today.
absolutely.
So if we didn't have that will, we would have not been on this platform talking about this, sharing this knowledge. It's all about the will. And I think many people have lost that in themselves, that will to change, the will to learn. It's just that, they have made their life as a daily routine, like 9 o'clock I go to office, 10 o'clock I do this, 11 o'clock I do this, yeah, this is that, 6 o'clock I check out, again I come home, again I'm in this. So for them also it's become so boring, because they are not willing to get any change with them. So
Lovely.
thank you so much, for your warmth, your wisdom, and sharing a part of your journey with us today.
Honored,
So
humbled.
your
Thank you.
insights are, yeah, your insights are a gentle reminder, that growth begins with the awareness and presence.
Yeah.
And you have been, I think, of course, in this 3 years, you have helped a lot of people, find them their vision, get them to their journey where they actually stand for. And like, yesterday also when we had a YouTube live session, and they were also into the life skills, and that is what we discussed, that, be happy with what you are. Don't try to become someone else.
You can never be. You can never
Yeah.
be.
You can never be. I know, like in our Hindi, which we see a saying, which I'll say it in English, that seeing someone's bungalow, you just can't break your heart.
Yeah,
you know be happy with your heart. You just, yeah, imagine you would get there, but just because seeing that and what you have, you're existing, even if you're trying to mess up with that, then I think that's not the right choice of life. That's not the
love.
right way of living. So it was really great. I got to learn a lot of things from you, from your experiences, and I think our viewers have also got a way of guidance. And I'm sure they would be looking to connect with you. So I would share your page details in the description for our viewers to connect with you. They
Thank you,
can,
Sam.
I think, yeah, they can WhatsApp you, or they can send you a message on Instagram, and it will be really great. So any last piece of words would you like to share before leaving us?
Thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about me.
My
Humble,
pleasure.
loved the conversation, and
Same here.
looking forward to staying connected. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you with me.
Thank you.
So it was a great conversation with Shanti ji, and she's really an eye opener based on what her experiences. 3 years, it's going to be next month. 24th May is going to be the third anniversary for her venture. We're wishing her a lot of luck, and I'm sure that you would definitely connect with her. And I think you have got an clear picture of what coaching is and how it can bring an impact in your life. Yes, very clearly, as she's mentioned 2 3 times in her conversation, that it's not a magic which she's going to bring in your life. It's basically, she's just going to be an eye opener for the things which you are not able to see through your vision. She would help you in seeing those things, in reaching to that goals, and making things easier for you, giving you a clarity. And trust me, it's always better to speak to a stranger than to your known persons, because you can be yourself. You won't hesitate that he or she will tell my family members, or what impression would it be, because he or she is my colleague, or any xyz reasons. So definitely get connected with her, and I'm sure it can be a good help for you. So until then, Sarah signing out, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new guest, with a new story. And if you want to get featured on my channel, I have shared my contact details in the description. Do get in touch with me. I would love to have you on my channel. I would love to share your story on my channel with my viewers. Until then, take care. Bye.